Hello, everyone, and welcome to another special episode of the Permadeath podcast. Today, I am joined by Kinross.
Hey.
And we are sans Bill today.
Yeah.
Bill was originally supposed to be here, and we were going to record a podcast about Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild and like a bunch of other stuff, but he unfortunately can't make it. So instead of doing a numbered episode without him, which would feel blasphemous in a way, we've decided that we want to do a spoilercast on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So if you haven't played the game
Or finished it.
or finished the game,
Finish the story, I guess.
yeah, finish the story, don't listen to this podcast. This is a really difficult one to talk about, because even if you've finished the game, I'm sure that one of us is going to mention something that you haven't found yet.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that between the two of us, one of us will mention something that we've not found yet.
But it's up to you whether you want to listen to this, because I know a lot of people want to go into this game as blind as possible and try and find everything by themselves. A lot of people just cared about the story. A lot of people didn't really care at all. So yeah, it's just up to you whether you want to listen to this podcast. We're not going to take offense if you're like, okay, I'm gonna peace out now.
Yeah.
Bill, don't listen to this podcast. If you are, just listening to see what we talked about when you weren't here, we'll do a good job, promise.
We won't complain about you or talk ill of you.
It's about Bill, right?
Yeah. I mean, we were going to do one of these anyway, but it makes sense to shorten the main episode a little bit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And we're getting it out way in time, whereas when we did the Final Fantasy 15 spoilercast, that was 3 months too late. So
Yeah.
this is relatively in a good time scale. So yeah, if you're leaving us here, thanks for listening. We'll have some more episodes for you in the future, I hope.
Yeah, a proper episode will be in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Depending whenever Bill stops being in a situation in which he cannot record.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it just depends.
Bye.
Bye. Alright, everyone else. We're going to talk spoilers about Breath of the Wild, and I'm going to start this by saying
Link is Ganon.
What is it that Link is Ganon? That's obvious. What were your feelings on the game by the time you'd finished it?
By the time I finished it, I was talking to Scott about this. I think it's my favourite Zelda game as a game.
Mm-hmm.
But Wind Waker still is my favourite Zelda game from a story and feels perspective, I guess. Breath of the Wild, it had a lot of little moments of just oh, that's amazing, or just general awe. But I think Wind Waker came at that sort of particular time for me where it just struck a bit more.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of similar feelings on 3D Zelda games, to be honest, because I said something ridiculously similar to that in the Discord not that long ago, where I think generally Breath of the Wild is a better game than the Wind Waker, but it still has a lot of sort of shortfalls where I think the Wind Waker did it better. And up until Breath of the Wild came out, the Wind Waker was definitely my favourite. It wasn't really contested that much, but I also really liked Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
And Breath of the Wild, I think if I had to rate them, I would put ahead of the Wind Waker. Because I just think that I've had so much enjoyment out of the game, and I'm 28% finished with it or whatever.
Yeah, from a perspective of just having stuff to do and wanting to do it, Breath of the Wild is a significantly better game than Wind Waker. For me, Wind Waker was do the story, enjoy the story.
Yeah, Wind Waker wasn't a game where I was I'm going to do all of the side quests because I just want to. I feel like I want to spend more time with Breath of the Wild, whereas with the Wind Waker, I adore the game, but by the time I'd finished it, I was okay, I'm satisfied and I'm kind of, done with the experience now. Still go back and play it every so often, but
I think my extent of really replaying Wind Waker as soon as I finished the story was I'll get as far as Jabun so that I can hear what the hell he's actually saying, because I'm wearing a magic costume, apparently. My pajamas could translate ancient Hylian or whatever. And then I was like, okay, I understand the story and all these little bits now. I'm done.
Yeah. That's relatively how I felt about it as well.
I never really bothered with
every
much
so
of the
often
figurines.
every so often I just get like an urge to go back. I remember I did try doing the figurines when I was playing your copy of the Wind Waker HD.
Yes.
At Alan's house a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And don't think I finished it.
Nope.
Because I think, like, a lot of... It's sort of like the Hyrule Compendium in Breath of the Wild. That stuff is tedious. Like...
I'll be honest, I have bought a lot of them. I was like, screw it. I'm rolling in money. I'll buy the photos from the guy.
Wait, are you talking about Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Explain.
The Hateno Research Center, you talk to the dude, and he's like, you could buy some photos from me.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
No.
Can you buy photos of the bosses?
Yes, they're called legendary enemies.
Oh.
I think that they cost
Thank God.
500.
Oh
I think
my
they
God.
cost 500 each. I'm not sure.
I've got like 17,000 rupees.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I bought all of the enemies.
Oh, I was just thinking, there's no way for me to 100% this game now because I forgot to take photos of any of the bosses. And now I know I can. Oh, that makes me really happy. Oh,
I couldn't have taken a photo of the first boss because I didn't have that yet. I didn't have the camera yet.
I don't even remember when you get the camera, to be honest.
It took me a while. To begin with, I was relatively blitzing story until I did the first dungeon, and then I was sort of, alright, I'll do a few more of the sidey things. So I didn't visit Hateno until just before my second dungeon.
I don't remember the sort of like order in which I did things, to be honest.
No.
To be honest, it's all sort of like
blurring into one.
Blur. Yeah. A blur of trying to tame a blue horse and
that bloody blue horse. But
I got one in the end.
Yeah, we got a better horse. Oh, you got a blue horse?
Yeah, I got a blue horse in the end. So I now have 5 horses, which means even if I wanted to get a Epona, I can't. Because I don't have any space in my stables for her.
What about the giant horse?
What giant horse?
Have you not seen the giant horse?
No.
Spoilers. There's a massive goddamn... It's the last of his kind. A massive horse that's like 2 or 3 times the size of all the other horses.
What?
Yeah.
Where is this?
I can't... It's in... I've got a little... Like, I was speaking to someone at the stables and they said, oh, it's, I think, in the northwest or something.
Is it like a side quest, or...?
It's not a side quest. They just sort of mention in passing, there's this goddamn massive horse.
Jesus,
yeah, I'll have to look it up properly, but I couldn't catch it. I didn't have enough stamina.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have. I've got my 2 horses named Aonuma and Iwata. I then have a blonde horse with long hair called Prompto.
Right.
And then I have Lucina, my blue horse, and the royal horse.
Yeah.
The like pure white horse.
Yeah. That's my only... I've got 2 horses. I've got my royal horse, who I have called Ganymede. And then I've got another horse that I just caught like as soon as possible, so that I've got one. I think I called him like Steve or something. It's like my placeholder name for everything.
I ended up having to like kill a couple of my horses.
Oh my god.
It sucks because like
do you
there's
get
no way
anything
you
from
can
that?
just be like There's no way that you can just be like, I don't want this horse anymore. I would like to, sell him or pass him on to a different owner or release him or something. It's like you just gotta like run the horse off of a cliff.
Or burn them in a furnace.
Or burn them, or try and fight a guardian on them and hope that they die. Like,
drop a rock on them.
Poor horses.
Or run them
I
off.
feel like
no,
such
you
a
can't
bad
run them off the cliff,
horse.
can you?
Yeah, I feel like such a bad horse owner because I spelt one of their names wrong, and I was like, I've got to
kill you.
I've got to release him. I need to sneeze, sorry. Oh no, no, don't. It's gone now.
Alright then.
Alright. Ooh, anyway. I want to talk about my biggest problem with the game. Like, because I've made a video already where I've spoken quite highly of a lot of the mechanics and stuff, by the way. Please link that in the description.
Yep.
And thanks for the plugs last episode.
Yeah, I meant to say at the beginning of this one, I don't know whether you found the plugs satisfactory or if you wanted to do it slightly better.
No, they were quite good. I appreciated them.
Okay then.
Yeah, I've spoken quite highly of the game because a lot of the stuff that I have problems with would like fall into that sort of spoilery category. My biggest problem with this game is I really, really, really do not like this iteration of Zelda at all. I think I went
Zelda
from
as a character,
being, like,
for what it's worth. Not...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Zelda as a character, not
the game.
Zelda as a game.
Yeah.
But when they sort of did the story trailer on the 13th of January and we were watching it, like, oh, this Zelda looks amazing. She looks like super fierce, like she cares a bunch, like she's going to be super important, and I hate her. I really dislike this Zelda. And it sucks when you sort of come off the back of, you know, Zelda in Ocarina of Time where she was super badass, or Tetra in the Wind Waker who was super badass, and then you come to this iteration of Zelda who I just could not stand.
She comes across like as... I mean, it makes sense because she's a princess, but she comes across as like a spoiled brat.
She really does. Like,
which is weird because she doesn't
the one thing that her dad needs her to do is like, you need to unlock this power because it's super important for like the good of the kingdom. And she's like, but I could be a scholar instead. And he's like, no, because that's really stupid.
But I could make the Guardians work. No. Get your magic power.
I absolutely do not think that what he was requesting was unreasonable. But, like, they tried to make her human and, like, she was forced to do stuff that she didn't want to do. But they made her super annoying in the process and made her relationship with, like, Link one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in a Zelda game.
I was expecting there to be a moment where it explained why she didn't like him. Like, is she literally, like, I'm pretty sure I asked this of you. I think, is it that she's just pissed off that she's being sort of mollycoddled by her dad, and she's just like, I want to look at flowers and learn about the past, not be guarded by a mute.
I think that's probably a relatively good summation of the situation, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Her whole character is sort of like based around Link being this sort of personification of everything that she's failed to do. And
oh yeah, that's the thing that stuck with me for a while. Was there was a line somewhere being like, every time she looks at that boy, she's just aware of her failures, and I'm like, what the hell did she do wrong? That like, is she responsible?
That's memory number one.
Yeah, is she responsible for like killing all of Link's family or whatever, and she's got to look after him because it's her fault? Oh no, she just doesn't want to be the princess. All right,
yeah. Like, I really thought I was gonna like this Zelda so much because she looked cool. She seemed really independent, and I think honestly a lot of people complain about how they've done Zelda's character in the past. I've always thought that like Wind Waker Zelda was really likable. The sort of like end boss for Twilight Princess where Zelda helps you, I thought that was really cool. Like, she's always been sort of involved in sort of the last fight in a lot of the 3D games, and I think that is, you know, important because it's the Legend of Zelda, you know. But there's just something about this Zelda where I feel like she's such a spoiled brat, and she never gets that moment of redemption for me. And because I didn't like this Zelda, I had absolutely zero interest in going to save her.
Yeah.
Or going to help her or whatever. Just had no interest in doing it whatsoever. So I, like, dicked about in a field for hours picking mushrooms. Like,
I mean, I did that because it was fun. And I was like, oh yeah, Zelda.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, it's... we'd had this discussion like the moment that they did that reveal trailer, and we were like, oh, look at all this voice acting, it's amazing. And then we found out that we weren't going to be able to have dual audio,
which I'm still kind of like, but why?
Yeah, but I don't like to tend to make this argument, but I did watch most of the cutscene, the memories with English subtitles, Japanese dub, and even though the writing's still not great, the delivery is significantly less bratish sounding. Like, I obviously don't understand Japanese, but from my anime experience, I'm like, this sounds like a brat. I don't get that quite as much.
Yeah, she just sounds like a royal, to be honest. Like how they would personify princesses generally.
Which, is a good move.
I want to talk about Zelda's voice acting in English, because I have never been one of those people that's like, dubs are bad, I hate dubs. I don't like it when I have to be like, this performance was not good.
Yeah.
But I had multiple times where the accent that she had, this is coming from someone who is obviously British, so I can tell when there's a fake British accent going on. She just sounded like she was an American putting on a fake British accent, and at points to me sounded more Australian than she did British.
Yeah.
And I hate saying things like, I think this performance was bad. Usually I'm the person who blames the director, but why can Xenoblade Chronicles get actual British voice actors, but The Legend of Zelda can't?
Yeah. I don't know. Unless, honest to goodness, there was not a single good audition.
I can't work it out.
No. And it's a real shame, because as the first entry in Zelda with proper voice acting, it should have been, or it could have been, at least good, potentially great. And instead it's just like, every time someone was like, Zelda should never be voiced, it's like, yeah, I kind of agree.
I want to say, like, Zelda's voice was not good. However,
still couldn't stand Impa's.
Some of the other voices, some of the other voices were so good, like so on point. Like, there was Sidon, I thought he was really good. Rivali, I really liked.
Yes, Rivali was good.
Like, no one's mentioning Rivali, but I just think that his voice is so pompous and, like, arrogant that it's so perfect for the character.
I think he's probably my favourite champion.
My favourite champion is probably the Gerudo.
Urbosa.
Yes, Urbosa, that's her name.
Urbosa would probably be up there.
I've always thought that the Gerudos were super cool, so to like have a Gerudo that's a legitimate character is quite nice.
I think
I know there've been more, but
I think I liked Urbosa when she had her spiel on top of Van der Boris, and it's like, apparently Calamity Ganon once took the form of a Gerudo, which means I can make this personal. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But Rivali was just generally more fun throughout.
Yeah, I like the fact that Rivali makes it doesn't even attempt to hide the fact that he hates Link. Yeah. And he's like, I'm the best archer, I have this like super amazing power. I just have to pilot this divine beast and sort of be your support. And that makes me really mad. I think that's amazing.
And he was still mad 100 years later.
Yeah, he's just
like everyone else
really
has been
salty.
waiting for Link for 100 years, and they're just like peaceful. And Rivali's there like, son of a bitch. If I was fighting Ganon, I would have won. I wouldn't be stuck with this bloody beast for 100 years.
It's just like, I really like most of the champions. The only one that I'm not like entirely convinced by is potentially Mipha. Just because she's got that like Legend of Zelda trope where the Zora falls in love with Link, and I'm like, no.
To be fair, in this game, everyone has fallen in love with Link.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with Link. He's amazing.
But so I kind of forgave the Zora for that. Apparently also
both
Zora
was...
lived forever. Hylian's got the bum end of the deal of, dying before the age of 100.
Unless you put in that friggin'
resurrection chamber.
And unless you're Zelda for some reason.
Yeah, she's kept alive by magic, I guess.
That was one thing as well. Like, why is Zelda alive?
Yeah, I assumed that because they made the vague notion that before too long Zelda's power would run out and she'd die. So I wonder if she was just like slowly drip feeding herself off goddess magic.
I don't know. Like, I think I probably would have liked Zelda more at the end if she'd like sacrificed herself to get rid of Calamity Ganon, because this feels like
I would like Zelda better if she killed herself for this.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, then it would have felt like she'd had some sort of redemption story where she was like, oh, I understand why I needed to try and find this power now, and I've got to use it for good. But, like, all of this, like, with Calamity Ganon sort of being sucked into the void, and whatever, and Ganon having given up on being resurrected and just became this, like, manifestation of pure evil, it just feels like it should be the end of a timeline.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they could justify putting another game after this. So maybe it would have been, like, poignant to have the sort of royal family all die off in the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. But DLC.
Yeah, she'll die then. But that's just my opinion. I'm just, like, assuming that this is, like, either the end of a timeline or its own separate timeline that takes place after Ocarina of Time. I have no idea. No idea. They still haven't told us. So
yeah, it's a confusing thing for sure.
I'm not particularly like a huge fan of crafting timelines myself, but I'm interested in knowing what the actual canonical answer is. So far, I'm just assuming that this sort of branches the Ganon is defeated timelines together. From Ocarina of Time, so the adult and child timelines somehow like bringing those two together because it's got elements of the Wind Waker in there, and it's also got elements of Twilight Princess and whatever in there. So I don't know. That's my theory, but please don't pay attention to it because I've really not thought about it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the fact that Rito and Zora are in the same world? That's weird.
Yeah, this is what makes me think that it has to have something to do with the Wind Waker, but it also doesn't make much sense for it to just be a Wind Waker sequel because of like what Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass did to that timeline. It's like a super weird
bloody timeline.
Just, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But it would make sense to sort of, like, maybe after the Wind Waker, there's another timeline where sort of, like, Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker come together, and New Hyrule doesn't exist, and, you know...
Man, it would be really weird.
Ganon's pretty dead at the end, so...
If, because the last game they did was Skyward Sword, if that was the first game and Breath of the Wild is the last game in canonical, it's just like, well, now I guess we fill out the middle. We got 10,000 years to fill.
I think this game actually reminded me of how disappointed I was by Skyward Sword, because I don't want to be like, oh, this game was just straight up bad. Like, there was a good game in there. I knew there was a good game in there. It's just I cannot do motion controls when they're one-to-one. If it's like, oh, wiggle the Wiimote, that's fine. But if it's like, oh, I have to like actively jab at stuff, I can't do it. Because I did like the first 2 dungeons of Skyward Sword, and I was like, this is good, but I am finding it so cumbersome to like have to redo the remote every 5 minutes because it's gone weird or whatever.
I'm interested to see if they'll do an HD remake for the Switch.
What, Skyward Sword? If they can make the motion controls like work in a way that I can do them, I would be so down for that. I would be so down for that. because like the story and the characters in Skyward Sword are super interesting to me, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't do the controls. And that's pretty much that. And like I've only just realized, like, man, when was the last time I enjoyed a 3D Zelda game like completely? 2002 is the answer, when the Wind Waker came out, because I'm not like a massive fan of Twilight Princess. I think it's okay. So I've been technically waiting 15 years for another home console game from the Zelda series that I've absolutely adored.
Yeah. It's worth saying that we both played on the Switch, obviously. Andy's been playing on the Wii U. Struggling a bit. Every now and then he's like, I should probably just buy it on the Switch. And
well, apparently it's faster to speedrun on the Wii U. I don't quite know why, but there you go, there is that. And also, I had my first hard crash of the game today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was in a thunderstorm trying to do some Korok things, and the game froze, and then it just closed the application and was like, there was an error, please restart the game, or whatever. Which scared the crap out of me at first, so I was like, when did it last autosave? But it rebooted fine, and it autosaved like a few seconds before, so I didn't really lose anything, which was
It's almost like it knew that it was going to happen. It's like, save.
Save.
Dump. Yeah, I've not had anything like that. But, the only problems I've had...
some Joy-Con issues when I'm not using it in handheld mode.
Yes, I've put that mostly down to the fact that my dock, I only have trouble when I'm sat on the far side of the sofa, because it's then buried behind like 6 Wi-Fi devices, various microphones, all sorts of electronics, and then also like 15 feet. So I figured that's probably what it is, but...
Well, I've been having Joy-Con issues, and there's maybe like 2 feet in between where I sit and where my Switch is, so...
Oh, okay.
But that's like all Switch stuff that I'm sure we'll talk about properly with Bill when he's got questions about it or whatever, so...
Or when he's played...
Bill's actually played on one.
Yeah, he's played a bit of Zelda, and he's going to be playing Splatoon next week. I think, really, the only real problem... Like, the big problems that people have in general seem to be the rain when you're climbing is basically just guess you've got to wait when you're stuck on the side of the mountain.
I got stuck under a bridge because there was no way for me to climb out, and I was out of Rivoli's Gale, so...
So I think it's a neat idea and it makes sense, but the amount of times that it rains at the most unfortunate times is just like, please stop. And then a lot of people don't like the weapon durability.
I talked about the weapon durability in that video that I made. I think it's really bad early on in game because, you know, you're picking up twigs and they're breaking really easily and whatever. But the more you go on, like, the more you find weapons that actually have like a fair amount of durability to them.
Yeah, I've got stuff now that lasts at least 2 or 3 fights, and I'm always well stocked with decent stuff. I don't think I've got anything other than my torch that does less than 30 damage.
I'll say one thing that would make it like 10 times better for me is if they had some sort of weapon repair system. Like, you gotta use some amber and maybe a bit of sapphire, but you can make your Lionel bow really healthy again, because I hate using the Lionel bows because they're amazing, but they break really easily. So
see, I just use the Rito bow.
Oh, I broke that and haven't gotten a new one yet.
Yeah. How do you feel about being able to rebuild like the quote unquote legendary?
I kind of just wish those were like the Master Sword, where they just didn't break. Because it's just like, I could go and get it reforged, but I also have like a billion other weapons that I could use, so I'll probably just do that instead because it's cheaper. Like,
the problem with that is that there's so many of those weapons that, depending on where you are in the game, whether you've spoken to, I've forgotten his name.
Hestu. Has
That's
to,
it.
yeah.
Like you might not be able to carry all of the weapons that they give you.
That's true. That's
I
true.
think so. I think it's a neat idea. Diamonds are super hard for me to come by, and I can't seem to trade in luminous stones for them anymore, which is a pain in the ass. So I feel like the diamond is perhaps a little bit much, but
I have 9.
9. Are you? So you just need to find one more, and then you're hoping that the Gruder lady in Goron City is just like, I'm looking for diamonds.
I'm looking for diamonds. Don't know. I've been selling like loads of them. That's why I've got so much money. Because like, actually, that's the thing that I want to talk about. Let me just turn my Switch on sleep mode. One of the things that I want to talk about is the rewards that you get for doing a lot of the side quests.
Hell of a lot of gold.
Lot of
Silver
rupees.
Yeah.
And rupees are really easy to come by in this game because you can sell things, and it makes finishing side quests kind of anticlimactic in a way. I don't know what they could have given you.
Yeah,
To be fair, but I'm not a game designer for Breath of the Wild, so
you seem to have been having significantly better luck with finding stuff that's worth money / decent food than Andy and I have. I think the highest that I've gotten was 5,000 rupees, and that's because I sold literally everything so that I could buy the rest of the Guardian gear.
To be fair, I haven't bought all of the Guardian gear because ancient shafts are a thing that I can't find apparently. But with food, it's just like, eventually I figured out this formula of if you take a hearty truffle, or just a truffle, or whatever, put some rock salt with it and put a Hylian herb, or Hyrule herb in with it, you will get full recovery plus 1 heart. Easy. You can do the same with hearty radishes, you can do even better ones with big hearty radishes, and you don't have to like waste a bunch of stuff and use 5 ingredients every time, which I kind of wish I'd known at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, if I put more stuff in it, it'll be better, and then I'd put in things that like conflicted with like
with the effects.
like one would have defense and one would have swift, and then you'd put them together and you would get
nothing.
like nothing from it. So
yeah, I've been going around because I bought a picture of a rare ore deposit, and I've been using my Sheikah sensor for that. I'm like, I'm gonna find all the rare ore deposits I can and mark them on my map, and I'll just keep going in a rotation around and around and around so that I can find some decent ores and things. But it's not paying off yet. I don't get much, so
I don't know how I've come across so much stuff that I have so much money.
yeah, I don't know either. And like when you were like, oh, it's okay, I've filled up all of the cooked food slots that there are. It's like, I didn't even know that there was a limit. It's like
Yeah, you were there when I was
pages.
cooking food to do stuff, weren't you?
Mhm.
I was like, oh, okay, I guess you can fill that up, because I sure as hell didn't know. There's so much stuff to talk about that I don't really know where to go next. So we've talked about...
It's pretty much like the game, except we don't see something on the horizon. Like, what the hell is that? Run, 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 run. Oh my god, look at this. Oh, what's that?
Okay, I've got a question
It's
for
like
you.
the ADHD game.
Yeah, pretty much. But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Which was your favourite divine beast? I'll say.
I enjoyed Meadow because I'd come off the back of Naboris pissed off and confused that I couldn't work out what it was. So Meadow was quite nice for being super easy.
I kind of wish that was the first one that I had stumbled across, because I think that one displays the mechanics of the dungeon really well, or the dungeons in general.
Yeah.
Whereas the one that I jumped into first was Varuta, which was the first one that you did as well, funnily enough.
Yeah. Well, that's because it's the one that the
which
story
is-
leads you to.
Well, you can go and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But Varuta had like the trunk that did like several different things, and I'm like, I don't know how one like adjusting it one makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it makes a massive difference because it makes it so that puzzles are like actually completable and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the big wheel in the middle of the room that I got stuck on, and you were like, I don't understand why you are struggling so much with this.
And then I realised that, it is because you were spinning the wheel the wrong way round, which I didn't know was a thing. Yeah.
Did it, though?
Yeah, you did. Congrats, you beat that dungeon with...
That's the only part of that dungeon that I straight up don't like.
And the boss, you weren't a huge fan, because it was a massive
I'm
dick
not
to
a
you.
fan of, like... What's it? Waterblight Ganon and Thunderblight Ganon.
Thunderblight Ganon was okay until the last half, where he's blinking all over the place, and it's like, I've got to hit him with these metal... I had to look that bit up. I had to look at most of Naboris, because Naboris can piss off. When he's teleporting all around, you've got to magnesis a thunder rod into him to do damage. It's just like, screw you.
I was kind of surprised by how I figured that out so quickly.
I spent 2 fairies not being able to work it out, and that's why I looked it up, and I was like, I don't know how I would have ever worked that out.
I did have to look at one thing with Windblight Ganon, because I think you have to like throw bombs at him at some point.
Okay, I totally cheesed Windblight Ganon. I had 30 bomb arrows and the Lionel bow, which shoots 3 things, and I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna blow him out of the sky.
I think
that's
it was
why
that one that you need to use bombs on, and I was like, oh, was it that one? I don't know. It could have been Fireblight Ganon, similarly. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a bit with wind, basically, where you have to throw bombs, and I was like, I don't think I ever would have figured that out. I'm pretty sure it was Windblight Ganon.
Probably, yeah. On a similar note, I quite liked what, I can't remember its name, the fire one, Radunia. I quite like how, you go in and it's all shut down, and so it's all dark, and you've got to run around carrying torches
Scared
around.
the shit out of me. I really, really, like... That whole, like, Death Mountain section I found super tedious and difficult for some reason.
I didn't...
No idea why. I think it was because I was in Birmingham when I was trying to figure out how to get there in the first place, and I was just like, I've got all this heat-resistant stuff, I'm going to be cool. And I just, like, kept catching on fire, and I was like, okay,
didn't
so I
know
can't
fireproof was a thing. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
And my problem with Radunia was that so before, as you're going up, you had to like lead Duruk's descendant up and kill the guardian things.
Dude,
I
that
didn't
whole
realize
section confused the crap out of me. I was like, what the fuck are these cannons for? I have no idea.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I can use the cannons to launch him at the guardians. No, all right, then I'll just keep going. Got to the end, and
but you can on like certain guardians, because I killed a couple of guardians doing that. So I was like, well, that must be the answer then.
And then there's this cliff at the end, and there's a massive lava river, and I'm like, all right, I could get over there by flying. Do I have to like launch him to the other side so that we can keep going up, and then I fly over the... No. And I spent literally an hour there shooting at different angles and different times, and then I was like, screw it, I'm looking it up. Turns out that I've got to go all the way back to the beginning and shoot Radunia with the first cannon. I'm like, God damn. If I'd looked to my left, I would have seen him up there, and I would have been like, okay, yeah, I've got to shoot him. But I didn't,
remember
so
how
I'm
I
like,
figured
screw
it out.
it.
I don't know if I looked it up or figured it out on my own or whatever, but...
So what was your favourite divine beast?
Not Naboris, that's for sure.
Mm.
It was probably Meadow.
Mm-hmm.
Although the build-up to getting into Varuta was the coolest.
Oh, yes.
Where you're like riding on Sidon's back and like breaking all the like ice stuff and doing the slow motion arrows and stuff. That stuff was cool beyond belief. Like, and then I got to the
music
dungeon
was pretty
and
dope
I was
too.
like, why is this wheel like the worst thing ever?
See, I didn't mind.
It'd probably be Meadow, even though it was like ridiculously easy, and I'm pretty sure I did stuff in a way that I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
But
probably. But I don't care. I solved it. That's the important bit.
I always feel like I want to talk about dungeons in general because I suck at Zelda dungeons in general. Like, for some reason, I didn't, like, Twilight Princess I found okay, mostly, but, like, I've never completed all of the dungeons in Ocarina of Time, because I feel like some of them are just, like, really obtuse and bad. The Wind Waker I was okay with, because those dungeons are relatively easy. Majora's Mask I struggled with so hard, because Majora's Mask has, like, in my opinion, some of the most difficult dungeons in all of Zelda. Like, Great Bay Temple, forget that noise, I hate it. But these ones I found kind of easy, and I like the fact that they were relatively bite-sized. I feel like they made up for the fact that these ones were so small by having so many shrines everywhere.
Yeah, I think that was a good choice by them.
A lot of people don't seem to be, like, too into that idea, but it makes it so that I can do the main story, not struggle with it too much, not get super frustrated, and then, you know, do shrines as and when I feel like it.
I think that a big part of the dungeons was the like, there was a lot of time spent getting to the dungeon, and how you got to the dungeon was, like, 90% of the work and fun for me.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the dungeon was just like your little 5 shrines or whatever worth of reward, and then a boss fight at the end, where you got a new magic power. So I think from that perspective, Ruta is probably my favourite one, because of the build-up of getting to it. I mean, where you fought the Lionel, I jumped off that cliff and landed on Sidon's back. I was like, let's go!
I'm ready. Sidon's, like, I know all of the internet is, like, freaking out about him, and I don't want to add to that, but man, he's such a cool character. I think he's amazing. I
thought that I'd get like, there was a point where I was like, alright, I really hope that he doesn't do that thing where he smiles and, like, fist bumps the air or whatever, again, because it's getting a bit tedious. And then they did it 10 more times. I'm like, this is my favourite thing in the world.
I don't know why it's him that I just love so much, but he's
and then I met Hestu, and I'm like, no, you are my favourite thing in the world. And then we met Tarrytown. I'm like, nope, you're the best thing in the world.
There's, like, so much good stuff in terms of side characters in this game that it makes Zelda that little bit more disappointing.
It probably wouldn't be so bad.
The Tarrytown quest is a perfect example of it, because Hudson, as a person, is not a very good character, but, like, the quirk that he has, where you have to find people with sun in their name, just, like, it's such a good quirk. It's such a good quirk.
And I like, to me, that was a great payoff, because I'd met the Gerudo and the Rito, and like, I just seen them, and I was like, okay, she's really sad that she can't tailor, and he really wants to open a shop. Why can't I do something about this? And then he's like, I need someone to open a shop, but they've got to have sun in the name. Like, I don't know if he's got sun in the name, but I know there's a Rito who wants to open a shop.
Like, I was convinced that, because one of the things that got spoiled for me was the Gerudo outfit that you get to get into Gerudo Town.
Yeah.
I was convinced that she was the one who was going to make me the outfit, but I couldn't, like, figure out how to trigger it, because it's not a thing.
I didn't know about the outfit, but when I heard about the mysterious person who'd made a Gerudo outfit, I'm like, I bet that woman's got something to do with it. Nope. Spent 3 days talking to her, trying to trigger it, and I'm like, no, I guess I've got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened with me. Like,
that'll teach me to talk to everyone and try and solve a puzzle.
And it's just like some dude who's like, oh, you look so pretty in that outfit.
Wind comes. Oh, God.
It's a shame that most of that scene was spoiled for me.
Yeah, it is.
Because who needs embargoes, am I right?
Yeah.
Speaking of outfits, what's your favourite outfit in the game? Either aesthetically or because of the thing that it does.
At the moment, like, my outfit consists of the Hylian hood, the ancient cuirass and the Hylian trousers, just because those are the ones that I've leveled up to 12 defense each.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford, or haven't found the stuff to level up everything else. Excuse me. Yet.
What's my highest one in terms of defense? I'm just gonna check.
In terms of functionality, probably the fire suit from Goron City or
that
Goron
fire
Town.
suit is like hideous looking.
I like walking around in like the middle of a town that isn't Goron City or whatever, Goron Town, Goron Village, where it's completely not necessary, and I'm just in this hulking great suit with a fire mask and these rubber arms and. But yeah, the fact that I don't need to make fireproof elixirs or buy them, makes that the most useful one to me.
God, there's so many good outfits in this game. I'm just looking through them now.
I don't have a lot of them. I've started buying the Dark Link ones.
Yeah, the Dark Link ones are cool.
I might have to start leveling that up.
You can't level that up.
Well then, it's not
permanently stuck at 3.
Well then, I'm not going to be using that much unless I'm wandering around
during nighttime.
During the nighttime.
You get speed boost if you've got all 3 of them. My favourite ones. I really like the Desert Voe.
I haven't actually looked
outfit.
at that one yet. Let's have a look.
Like aesthetically, that one just pleases me very much. Like Link's got these massive hoop earrings. It's great. And the more you level it up, the more like set bonuses you get from it. So not only does it like reduce the amount of heat that you can take, I've leveled it up to 3-star now, and it's got shock damage resist.
Oh man.
And then there's the Champion's Tunic, which I really like. I think that's a very pretty colour. And the other outfit that I really like is the Sheikah outfit.
Yeah. I've not bought that one yet. I keep forgetting.
And then there's obviously the Luchador outfit that you can get.
What?
You can get a Luchador outfit that glows in the dark.
Where the hell did you get that?
It's a side quest in Gerudo Town.
Oh, for God's sake. I'm struggling, like, I've got the Thunderhelm side quest where I've got to do all the side quests or help all the people in Gerudo Town. I can't find anyone else.
I've only just gotten the Thunderhelm.
I
think I had to look up what the last quest that I was missing was. No, I didn't. I just randomly found it.
Yeah,
I was close to looking it up.
Yeah. But,
my strongest thing in terms of rating is Amber Earrings at 18.
Oh my god.
So yeah. That's pretty much that.
Sorry, I'm just buying the Desert Voe. I need 500 more rupees.
Desert Voe just makes me so happy. I like the Desert Vi. Well, it's not called Desert Vi, it's just called Gerudo. The Gerudo gear. The Vi gear, I guess. Just because it's funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You had to dress Link as a grill.
Oh, I thought you meant the name Vi gear was funny.
Oh no, the like gear itself is quite funny, in my opinion. I've got 2 sets of it just so I could have one that I could dye a different colour.
I find it somewhat hilarious that you go into the spa and they're like, alright, I'm gonna help release your tension or whatever, and they don't notice that you're a Voe.
Man, you've got such muscular features.
You're so flat-chested. Yeah, okay, the Voe outfit's kind of cool. I'm looking at it now.
The Voe outfit is the one that I always like default to, and if I have to have something else on, I usually at least keep the headgear on because I just think that the like ponytail thing that Link has is really fun. Yeah, I don't know. I just there's a lot of outfits that I really like in this game, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing a couple because I don't have the Guardian stuff yet. And I think when you complete all 120 shrines, you get something else.
Oh my god!
And I also haven't put in any of the amiibo yet.
No. I've only gotten one amiibo piece at the minute, and that's the Wind Waker top. So.
Yeah, I haven't even opened those amiibo yet. I've turned into Andy.
God damn.
What else is there to talk about? Loads of stuff, probably.
What did you think of Final Ganon and like Hyrule Castle and all of that?
Hyrule Castle, I'm gonna count as like the 5th dungeon, to be honest, because the first time I went there, I was like, right, it's like 4:30 in the morning. Let's finish the game. Let's do it. So I finished it without getting the last memory because I found that like exploring Hyrule Castle was like this thing that I built up in my head to be super intimidating, and I didn't have like tons of food, so I was like, I need to like avoid as many guardians as possible and sort of like get to Ganon. So I missed out on the last couple of memories. And I pretty much skipped most of it by using Rivali's Gale and just like flying to
and just
flying
up
to the last boss.
Yeah.
But I have gone back since to like finish the side quests that I had that were linked to Hyrule Castle. And the place is just like one of the coolest things in a Zelda game in a really long time. Like getting to walk through Hyrule Castle in that capacity is just awesome. And it's got minecarts and stuff as well.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's got a minecart.
I was looking for the last memory and accidentally stumbled into the sanctum and the final boss. I'm like, well, I guess I'm in here now.
Yeah.
I really like
having
this interpretation.
like if you don't know, having all the memories unlocks the. I guess like if it was a visual novel, it would be like the true ending.
The ending that I imagine would lead on to DLC.
Maybe, who knows? Because they haven't told us anything about the DLC yet.
I really like the design of Calamity Ganon. I think it's really cool.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Ganon.
Yeah, that he's only sort of half regenerated and he's still sort of all.
Yeah.
And to that extent, I like the boss designs in general. I like that they're a sort of fusion of Guardian and Calamity.
Yeah, I think all of the Ganon fights in terms of like design were very, very cool. Water Blight Ganon can piss right off though.
Yeah, he was a dick to you.
Like that was the worst one for me by far because it was just like, oh, you're gonna keep doing this. You're gonna keep doing this like one move over and over and over again, which doesn't give me like any opportunity to like hurt you. Okay. Yeah. So that kind of sucked, but that's more of an RNG thing, which I will get onto again in a minute, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. The actual last fight I thought was really cool, but also had a lot of build-up and wasn't that difficult.
I think that it's a consequence of it being such an open game, and the game is constantly killing you over and over and over again. You're like, okay, I've got to. If the game outside of Hyrule Castle is like this, I really need to be ready to go to take on Ganon. I need to have as many hearts as I can. I need to have as many like yellow heart meals as I can. Grab a couple of fairies, ancient arrows. Make sure that Mipha's Grace is off cooldown. Basically, make sure everything is off cooldown before I go in there. And because I was looking for a memory and not Ganon, Mipha's Grace was not available until halfway through the fight, so that was terrifying. But yeah, I think that we potentially over-prepared. So
that is a massive consequence of like building something up, because you're like, man, this is going to be so difficult. I found getting to Ganon way more difficult than the actual final fight.
Yeah.
Which maybe again is like that build-up thing that we were talking about, where the build-up to the dungeon is 90% of the work. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how many, like, from a hearts perspective, how many hearts they expect you to have when you go.
I don't know, because I had like, because I wanted to get the Master Sword, so I had at least 13 by the time I went there.
Yeah.
And then I had the Master Sword, which is like super effective against. Yeah, you get the Master Sword, which is like really strong against Ganon, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh god, I want to talk about the music as well. Remind me in a minute. But one of the coolest things about the Ganon boss fight for me was seeing like all of the dungeons sort of come together, and just how much health that took off of Calamity Ganon was incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
All those lasers. I'm glad that I went through Naboris now.
Yeah.
But like that series of cutscenes was very clearly like you could tell that how they'd made it so that you'd be like, you only did 2 of them, we'll only show 2 of them, and it'll make complete sense in terms of each other. Which I think is cool. It does make it somewhat tempting to be like, I'll go back and fight him without a divine beast. I'll still level myself up, but I'll fight him.
Yeah, but you'll still have to fight Waterblight Ganon and Thunderblight Ganon and...
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Like, that, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
One thing that I am kind of disappointed by, though, is... I know it doesn't make sense in the context of the game.
Okay.
But man, I was really hoping for Ganondorf. I was really hoping for Ganondorf. Because it's been a hot minute since we've seen Ganondorf, because he wasn't in Skyward Sword as far as I'm aware. Like, Demise was there instead, which I guess is sort of like a form of Ganon, I'm not sure.
It's a precursor.
Yeah, as everything is in Skyward Sword.
Yes.
And then the last time we actually saw him was in Twilight Princess.
HD.
Well, we don't in terms of new games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a hot minute since Ganondorf. So
I'm sort of okay with it, because like I said,
I
really like the design for this Ganon, so I would have been a bit if he'd been like, yeah, I'm fully resurrected now, I'm Ganondorf.
That's what I'm saying, is I know it doesn't make that much sense in terms of context of the game, but like Ganondorf to me is like the thing about 3D Zelda, because when they first made Ocarina of Time, which was the first 3D Zelda game, that was when Ganondorf was introduced. And he's been in The Wind Waker, he's been in Twilight Princess, he's probably been in a bunch of other games that I'm not remembering, but like... I know Ganondorf isn't, like, a staple character. Like, Ganon is the staple character. But still. It's just kind of sad, because I like Ganondorf. I think he's a really
it would have been cool to see
in a way.
him in the Breath of the Wild art style as well. Like,
yeah, that would have been cool.
Wind Waker Ganondorf is my favourite Ganondorf, because he's badass looking and he's got 2 swords.
Yes, and also he has that whole speech where he's like, my village lay in a vast desert or whatever, and
I coveted that wind, I suppose.
Yeah, like that whole thing sort of, in a way, humanizes him, so you sort of understand his motivation.
Yeah.
But there's like no text for... Yeah, there's like no context for Calamity Ganon in a way, which totally makes sense, because it's just supposed to be sort of like this incarnation of pure evil and malice and hatred and stuff. But there wasn't even like any sort of dialogue from him, like not even sort of like a garbled line of
Rawr.
Yeah, like I don't know. Calamity Ganon is really cool in concept and design. I just think that maybe there could have been a bit more to him.
Which fight / design did you prefer? The first one where he's all spidery and blah, or the second one where he's a massive pig beast and you've got to shoot him with light arrows?
The second part is really easy. Like, that's probably like the easiest boss fight in the entire game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to separate like the atmosphere as well. Like in terms of a boss fight, I think probably Calamity Ganon in spider form.
Yeah.
In terms of like design and sort of atmosphere and everything else that's happening, probably Beast Ganon.
See, that's the thing.
Because of the music, it's the music, because it's the main theme of Breath of the Wild with Ganon's theme, and oh god, it's so good. It's such a good piece of music.
I actually didn't hear that because I stumbled upon it. I was like, Andy, you can't come in. Spoilers are happening, and I turned down the volume because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I didn't actually hear any of the.
Have you heard it since?
Nope.
Oh my god! Hold on. Take a break from podcasting for a second. Breath of the Wild, Beast Ganon, music. Yeah, it's an extended cut, but you have to listen to this live on air.
Alright.
And just edit it appropriately.
Oh, you put it on Skype. Okay.
Yes.
Alright, so we're here for the next 15 minutes, guys.
I'll tell you when you can stop. I'm sort of listening to it now.
Okay.
I'm so excited to listen to it.
Oh my god.
Get into the good part.
Ba-da-da-da. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, it's about 120.
What the hell was that?
What?
It was like do, and then it's back into the. Just a random organ interjection.
Yeah. It's Ganondorf playing the organ from the afterlife or something, I don't know.
With
So
his
that's what
spider
I'm
legs.
saying, is like it's really difficult to sort of separate like atmosphere and music from that boss fight, because the boss fight itself is not that great, but like riding around on a horse while that music is playing, and it's just the coolest. It's so cool. It's a shame that Zelda wouldn't shut the hell up. Use the light arrows, Link.
I've got to calm down now.
See, I told you it was good.
Oh, man.
And that's what colours my view on that boss fight.
Yeah, I would probably prefer Beast Ganon if I heard that. Oh. Alright, yeah. Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Music in this game's good.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about the music. Wait, was there something else that I wanted to mention?
You wanted to briefly mention RNG.
Yeah, that was the thing. We'll bring that up in a minute.
Okay.
Music in this game, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think the main theme is amazing. I think the fact that they remixed a bunch of older music just to like put it into places that made sense, like Rito Village is Dragon Roost Island's theme, and Zora's Domain is the same from Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, I think.
Yep. Kakariko is a mix of Twilight Princess and I think something else.
And then I think the Goron town is some Eldin theme from Skyward Sword.
The Bridge of Eldin's taken a hell of a beating, though, compared to Twilight Princess. It's this little stump of a metal bridge. The only one that I'm disappointed in is Gerudo Town. Because there's nothing, I can't work out anything from, like, Gerudo Valley is one of my favourite pieces of Zelda music.
That's true, but I think the problem with a lot of Zelda themes in general is that they are overdone. Like
yeah. I
Gerudo
understand
Valley you'll hear everywhere. Song of Healing you'll hear everywhere. It's like
I understand the complaint that melody-wise some of them aren't quite like there's less memorable hummable stuff compared to stuff like Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask or Wind Waker or whatever.
sort of helps that all of those had like instruments where they had really short like motifs of music, whereas you don't have an instrument in this one particularly.
So I
don't know why I said particularly. You don't have an instrument in this one.
From that perspective, I understand the complaint that the music's not quote unquote
I
as
understand,
good, but
I understand
prefer
that it's not like as grand and as, I don't know, epic as some of the Zelda games. But
Breath of the Wild is the first Zelda game where I'm like, I really, really hope that they release a full OST for this because I want it. I want to listen to everything. The sound selection that came with the special edition is great, but I'm like, there's so much more that I want to be listening to. Like, if I could be listening to Beast Cannon now that I've heard it the first time, that'll make going to work so much cooler.
Yeah.
So I hope that they do that at some point. I think the piano is a great choice for backing instrument. Just like the nice little...
I like that they incorporated just a lot of these like short motifs into things as well. Like the stable theme is a Pona song, I think.
Yep.
And then in the Guardian theme, there's like a Zelda's Lullaby reference, and there's another sort of reference in the Riding theme as well.
Yep. And obviously, Temple of Time, which you didn't know was a thing. I'm surprised that was the case. Like, that was like one of the first things I knew, that the Temple of Time was a really slow.
When I'm listening to the soundtrack, it's one of the ones that I skip the most because it's got a lot of like blank space in between things.
Yeah.
But I do think for the game, the soundtrack was pretty spot on. No Koji Kondo, but that's okay. Koji Kondo is a legend, but he's probably working on other stuff or taking a break.
Yeah. Did you say it was the Animal Crossing guy?
Bill said it was the Animal Crossing lady, I think.
Yeah. I still love the music for Tarrytown. Just the random horn that shows up. It's like...
Apparently, the more people that you add to Tarrytown, the more layers get added onto that song.
Oh my god. It's been a while since I visited and had sound on, so I'll have to go back. But
Tarrytown in general is just like my favourite side quest so far.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
And I've done a lot of the side quests, so...
How many have you done now? Do you know?
Let me check.
Yeah, I think that the music does a good job of being a secondary... Like, it enhances the experience at the time. It's not particularly intrusive. But is still, like... If you take the time to listen to it, it's pretty great.
I have done 50 out of 76 side quests.
My lord. I've only done 36. I can't find any more. I'm really struggling to find them.
It's alright, you'll get your guide soon. It'll be alright.
I hope so.
But yeah, Tarrytown is still my favourite one so far. Some of them are just like really dumb. Like, some of the side quests are just really dumb. Yeah.
I like the side quests where they're like, can you get me this? And I'm like, I've already got 20 of them. Here you go, done. Side quest complete.
The shrine quests are the ones that I'm struggling with at the minute because they're starting to get like really vague and difficult to figure out.
Yeah, I've got a couple that I'm like, I kind of know what I've got to do, but I don't know what exactly it wants me to do. Like the Gerudo Tower one, where it's like, when the sun is in the northwest, from the shadow of the tower, pierce heaven's light. I'm like, okay, so I've probably got to wait until, because northwest is pretty much sunset. I've got to shoot the sun from the shadow of the tower, but I don't know where I need to be, and my arrows obviously don't reach the sun, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I'll work it out eventually.
Well, look it up. One of the two.
Yeah. I really like the shrines. There's only been a couple where I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
I'm getting to the point now where I'm at the shrines that getting there is the puzzle, so I'm running out of actual puzzles that are happening within the shrines themselves.
Oh, so you've got a lot of blessings.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those blessing ones going on so far.
Yeah, I've had a couple.
So far over the past couple of days, so...
Yeah. Every single one of them, like, where there has been a puzzle, there have been a couple where I've been beating my head against the wall, and then it comes to me and I'm like, I feel good for solving that one. Perhaps the worst shrine is the one in the Korok forest with constellations. I had to look that one up.
Oh,
there was
God.
literally no... Because I spent 4 or so hours trying to get into there, like I was exploring the Lost Woods, and didn't know the secret mechanic of how to get there, so I was just trial and erroring repeatedly. And then I was like, I can't not solve this shrine, because I didn't know that just activating the shrine set it as a map point. I thought I had to actually complete it. So I was like, damn it, I've got to try and solve this. I don't understand what it's trying to get me to do. And then I looked it up and I was like, okay, I get it. I don't know how the hell I was supposed to work that out.
I was in Birmingham when I did that one, wasn't I? Because you were like, you go figure it out, and I'll be like, okay. I just super don't get it though.
And then I just told you after 15 minutes.
Well,
I was like, okay.
You didn't tell me. You said look at the back wall, and that was pretty much all you said. And then I figured it out.
Oh yeah, because you did what I did, where you thought it was a coordinate system. I think that I said look at the back wall, and I said it's not a coordinate system after you tried that for about 5 minutes. And then you figured it out.
Then I figured it out by magic. I don't know why it suddenly popped into
just
my head.
happened,
But without that, like, without you going, just look at the back wall, I probably would have been like, right, I'm going to look this up, because...
See, I never reached the point where I stopped thinking it was a coordinate system, so I'm like just constantly trying to work out the coordinates. It's like, oh no. So. I
think what prompted the hint though was I was just like, well, I guess I'll try every possible combination of where I can put the balls in the holes. You were like, no, don't do that. That's stupid.
There's thousands of options. It's like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, did it in the end. My least favourite one so far has probably been... There was one with conveyor belts.
Yeah, Andy was telling me about that one. I've not come across it yet.
I didn't know you could stasis a thing that makes that dungeon, like, 10 times quicker to finish.
I was doing a dungeon when he was explaining that one to me, and he said, yeah, there was this stasis thing, and I was trying to work out how... Because I'd run out of fire arrows, and I needed fire, and there was a torch. Or not a torch, but a hanging lantern. I was like, how the hell am I going to get this over there? And then he was talking about stasis, like, what if I stasis this lantern, beat it a bunch, as it's swinging, shoot the rope so that it sort of flies towards the fire, and then it worked. And I was like, yes!
I love the fact that you can solve, like, puzzles in your own sort of way, because it makes me feel really smart, even though if I could potentially be doing it in a completely, like, unoptimal way. And one that maybe they didn't entirely intend.
Yeah. And then you wonder, did they always intend that?
There was one that had like a hammer, like that you were supposed to like hit a ball with.
Oh, the golf one.
Yeah, it might not have been the golf one actually.
It was a motion controls thing where it was like a.
It wasn't golf though. It was like there's a like a ball on like 2 metal things, and you have to like hit it to make it knock something else down and like break a bunch of stuff.
In that case, I've not seen that one. I quite like the hammer ones.
You can motion control the hammer, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just stasised one thing and then used magnesis on the ball and just like hit it a bunch. And that worked, but I don't think that's how you're supposed to do it.
Oh Lord.
It was weird. I like it though.
I thought your least favourite was going to be the marble maze.
Oh, God, I keep forgetting because I didn't finish that one in the end because I had to get you to do it for me because, like I said, I can't do gyro controls and motion controls. They just confuse me.
Did you hear about the way that they cheesed that? Some people have cheesed that.
No.
So Andy was telling me about it. If you flip your stuff upside down, so that the maze is facing down, the ball will fall out and obviously reset, but the underside of the maze is completely flat, so it lands on this flat surface and you just roll it to the...
I feel like an idiot for being like, Kinross, do this for me because I'm going to break my Switch.
I mean, I would never have thought of... Because I didn't think that the ball would reset. I didn't think that it would go over that far. But, yeah. I like that there is a ton of variety in the walls. I mean, I've only done 50 odd, but none of them have felt. The only ones that have felt samey are obviously the blessings or the tests of strength.
I like the fact that they put in something to do with combat, though, because it makes it feel like, oh, even if you're not good at puzzles, you can still do some of these shrines. And it really tests you on every aspect that it needs to, I think. That being said, I've run across so many of those tests of strength dungeons that I'm like, okay, like, I don't know anymore. Like, they're not hard, they're not difficult, and they're
just time-consuming.
Yeah, pretty much.
For the most part. It's just like, alright then. But I know that I'll get some Guardian gear out of it, which is always useful.
Yeah, that's true.
So, did you want to talk about RNG before we
Yeah, let's talk about the fucking blood moons in this game. My god. So, I thought, for the longest time, because I got like one blood moon, and then I didn't get any for a while, I thought that blood moons were on a timer. Turns out, they happen completely randomly. I've had some happen at 8 in the morning in game time. Yep.
They're only supposed to happen at midnight.
Well, that's clearly not true. Like,
alright then.
You know that's not true because I've had 3 blood moons in one night.
It was amazing.
That has happened now probably about 4 times.
At least you can skip it.
Yeah, but then it like has a really long loading screen after it because it's spawning all the crap that you've killed.
Yeah.
I had it happen in the middle of a Lionel boss fight, which then reset all of his health.
Oh.
And I was like, I am so angry right now. I am so mad. So I started fighting him again. Another blood moon happened. Reset his health. And I was like, I literally can't. I
think I've had maybe 7 blood moons in my entire playtime.
Oh my god, I get them all the time. Like, all the time. And
it's getting really hard to find
Guardians. If I have to hear Zelda say, the blood moon rises once again, I'm gonna, like, scream.
You can skip before she says anything.
I know, but at that point, I'm just sort of, like, throwing the controller down and just, like, anguish and anger. Like, it's just... Oh.
Yeah, I wish I had more blood moons because it respawns Guardians. I'm like, I need my Guardian shards and all that malarkey.
Yeah, but it's not fucking good when, like,
I've got not enough and you've got too many.
Happen in a boss fight and it regens the boss. Like,
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Makes me so mad.
Can you imagine if it happened in the middle of a Ganon fight?
Right, I'm going to use one of my ancient arrows on you just so I can get past you because clearly the stars are not aligning today.
Yeah.
Wasted one of my ancient arrows on him.
And then there was a blood moon and brought him back.
I got away from there before the other blood moon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, could you imagine if that was to happen in the middle of the Ganon fight and you hadn't gotten any of the divine beasts?
I'm positive it cannot happen while you're in Hyrule Castle.
I assume so. It can't. But actually, Hyrule Castle reminded me. What did you think of the 3D map thing in the dungeons? Did it confuse the hell out of you? Or... In
premise, I think it's cool, but when it's more useful when it's like a flat sort of like how do I explain this? Probably closer to Varmeadow, because you can still see everything.
Yeah.
And like that map's really easy to understand.
Because Varmeadow
it's when it gets to like Hyrule
long
Castle.
And flat.
Yeah, so it's when it gets to Hyrule Castle that I think it's taking the piss a bit, because like 3D maps are cool in concept. It's just like I can see all of these like winding like gate areas, and I'm like, I don't know where that takes me because it's just like lost in the mess of the rest of the castle, which isn't useful as a map. Like,
no. Which is why I just climbed walls and Rivali's Galed up. And I'm like, alright, here I am.
But, like, exploring Hyrule Castle was super cool, and finding stuff like the docks was super cool, finding the shrine was super cool.
What?
There's a shrine in Hyrule Castle.
Oh, no! I mean, I'm going back anyway, but whatever.
There's, like, Koroks in there and stuff. All of that stuff, super cool, but the map was just, like, not of any use to me. But like in concept, I think the 3D maps are cool. It would just be nice if you could highlight a thing, and then it showed you sort of like if there was a tunnel and you highlighted where the tunnel was, and it would show you like highlight
where it pops out or whatever.
It pops out or whatever. So yeah, that's my opinion on the 3D maps and the RNG of this game. Because it's like not as story intensive, I never imagined this was going to be as long as like the Final Fantasy 15 Spoilercast, where we went like in depth and explained everything that we thought of the game.
That does remind me though. How did you feel about basically the story being revealed through the captured memories?
I actually
and that you could
kind
find
of
them
liked
in any order.
One of the things with open world games is sometimes like the dissonance between the story and the world doesn't make sense. And
I mean, we talked about that in Final Fantasy 15, where it's like the game needs you to do this for saving the world reasons, or like very dire reasons within the context of the mission, but you're off driving around. I mean, that's still the case here. Zelda is in trouble and the world needs saving, and you're dicking around picking up mushrooms, but there's not a specific missions like you need to do this or this person will die.
Well, it's just like at the beginning of the game, it's just like it's like really close to the start of the game as well. If you go to Kakariko Village, it's just like destroy Ganon.
Yeah, like, okay, thanks.
Is like one of your main quest objectives, and you just have that for the entire game.
Yeah. It's really satisfying to see that say completed though at the end. It's like yeah,
that was really satisfying actually. But the memories I kind of like because it gives you a reason to explore, which when you have a game world as big as this one, kind of important. just a bit important. So you have that going on. Just like the way that it sort of like uncovers the story in memories and fragments and stuff, and like sometimes you'll get like number 12 before you get number 1, and you're like, oh, what's the context of this? This is really intriguing, or whatever.
I mean, I think for both of us, our first memory was Calamity Ganon Awakening. And it's just like, the first memory you get is everything going horribly wrong, and it's like, oh my god. And I like that, I do like that you... I feel like the story in this game isn't amazing.
I want to talk about the ending, actually, before we wrap up.
But the way that the captured memories work, in that you're getting these little snippets as you discover them, when you find either talk to the painter man, he's like, I know this place, or you're like, I know that landmark and I know this terrain, I can probably work out where this is, and in that way it feels super rewarding when you walk along and then there's this glowing pillar of light, and because it shows up, because it shows little snippets of story that are completely out of order because you're not necessarily finding them in the right order, it adds a significant amount of mystery and an element of tension to the game's story, where you're like, I want to find out what happens next. And so I went on a memory binge trying to find them all and work out where everything was, rather than the story being handed to me, and I would have been a lot more like, oh, all right, I guess it's a story. It's in your hands then.
It's just such a shame that the story entirely revolves around a character that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, it's Hershika Slate.
Like,
it makes sense.
There are like some instances where I was like, oh, that's cool, because they like mention Link's dad at one point, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But most of it revolves around Zelda, and it's never really been about Link's story. It's been about Link's adventure more than anything. The story has always been to do with Zelda, pretty much.
Like there's only 2 memories where it's like super obvious that Zelda's a bit of a bitch. The one where she's talking to her dad is like the most obvious one, and she's like, no, scholar. And then the other one is she's investigating a shrine and Link comes up behind her and she tears him a new one because she's like, I don't need to be followed, leave me alone. And
it's like his job. Like...
yeah. Otherwise, like, for me, the other instances were irritating because of the voice, but the
there was the first memory that, like, canonically, I guess the first memory.
Oh, the knighting
where
one.
she's knighting him or whatever, and she's just like, oh god, she just got this attitude that just pisses me off.
But I think in the other ones, she's not as bad. So I guess if they were to fix those three scenes, maybe things could have been a bit better. But yeah,
I don't like her. I just really don't like her. I thought she was more likable in A Link Between Worlds, and she was barely a character.
She was a picture in that one.
Yeah.
Talk about two-dimensional.
So yeah, I don't know. Just
it's unfortunate.
I wanted to like her, and for the longest time I was like, no, I like her. She's cool. And then it just got to a point. I think it got to the one where she was investigating the shrine, and she was just like, I don't need looking after. And I was just like, I can't defend this character anymore. She's just not good. Like,
I mean, the one where she's talking about the Silent Princess is kind of cool, because she's just like, I really enjoy learning stuff, and I can teach you this thing about this flower, Link.
To which he responds,
yeah, there we go. Link's VA is great.
oh my god, the animations that Link has in this game just make me so happy.
The animation,
so happy.
All his little screams and grunts and hums.
Oh god, him humming, him like laughing when he's jumping on the waterbed, that is my favourite thing in the world. It was so unexpected, because I was like, oh, I'll get the waterbed, because, you know, you get a bunch of extra like, perks from it and stuff. And then, like, I just started listening to Link basically being a child. He's this super serious knight that never says anything. And then he's like, yay, I'm jumping on a waterbed, it's so much fun. It made me the happiest person in the world.
This is probably the best Link character.
Yeah, this is my favourite incarnation of Link. I don't know if it's because I can sort of like dress him up and, you know, do whatever, but he's like super capable without having like a massive arsenal of weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of like unique items, not like he has a bunch of swords or whatever. Like I think because the last Zelda game that I played before this was Twilight Princess, where he had like a rainbow of different things that just like
that he's
used
got iron literally
boots,
once.
He's got double claw shots. He's got
a wrecking ball.
He's got a wrecking ball. He's got probably a bunch of other stuff as well that he didn't need.
Boomerang.
Whereas this one, he's got like a sword, a bow, and then he's got his runes, and that's pretty much it. And he can do so much because he can like climb up mountains and glide off of mountains and
cook.
He can cook and he can jump on waterbeds and sound like the happiest thing in the world. He can swim up waterfalls, like just so much.
There are so many little
things
things.
Can do.
Yeah.
It like I said in the video, it's just like about the little things that he does. Like he hums while he's cooking, and he like when he gets a massage off of a Goron, he's like ah, or whatever. Like it's just stuff like that. Stuff
I really
like
want
that.
to play this game.
Yeah, I kind of want to go and play Breath of the Wild now. So.
I mean, you wanted to talk about the ending.
Yeah, let's talk about the ending at the ending of the podcast. So, I was super disappointed with the ending. To be fair, I did get the not proper ending first. Which is just basically the scene of the king and the 4 champions like floating above Hyrule Castle and watching Link and Zelda go on their way.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's kind of nice, but it's after 40 hours or whatever, it's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, a bit anticlimactic. Like, I'm trying to think of a Zelda that had like a ridiculously good ending.
Wind Waker
comes to mind. Ocarina of Time had a ridiculously good ending, in my opinion.
I quite enjoyed the Twilight Princess ending, to be honest with you.
Because it feels like conclusive in a way, whereas that ending in particular just made me think, what? Like, what happens?
Yeah.
Like, and then I got the other ending, and was just like, this doesn't make it any better. Like, the best thing that came out of the ending was, like, at some point, Zelda mentions when you get the memory of her putting the Master Sword in the care of the Deku Tree. She says, I can hear the Master Sword talking, and it's saying that his purpose is not yet fulfilled. And then at the end of the game, she says, I can't hear the Master Sword anymore, which means Link has fulfilled his purpose. That's, like, the whole extra thing that you get from that ending. But, like, why? I don't understand why she's alive. I just don't get it. Like, she's been not in, like, a Chamber of Resurrection as a Hylian for 100 years, so she should be at least somewhat older.
Unless
but she's not.
Like, was she in the cocoon?
I don't know.
Magic happened.
I don't know.
I did mean to bring this up earlier, but where do you see Zelda, the Zelda series going from here in terms of game style? Because this is obviously their first open air game, where they've sort of gone massive and do your own thing. Do you think that they'll keep going in this direction? Do you think they'll go back to sort of something a bit more formulaic, or do you think they'll do something completely different?
I don't know. Like, I don't know where you go from a game like this that's, like, reviewed so consistently well. Unless they're like, oh, Ocarina of Time was popular, now make Majora's Mask in a year. Where they make, like, another open world game that doesn't take place in Hylia, takes place in a place like Termina, or whatever. Which is a possibility. Like,
yeah,
I think this game sold pretty well so far. I think it's reviewed very, very well so far. And I would like to think that they'll do another game similar to Breath of the Wild. But every time I've enjoyed a game, they've never done that, so...
I mean, I've said it before, and I've probably said it on Twitter as well. Because Terry Town is my favourite quest in this game, and because the world of Breath of the Wild is so destroyed, I really, really, really want to spend a lot of time in this world rebuilding it and, like, forming towns up again and setting up trading. I would buy a
spin-off sequel or something.
Yeah. I would throw another 90 of my British pounds at Nintendo if they were like, we've made Breath of the Wild B. The B stands for Build Hyrule again. And I would be like, great.
Build of the Hyrule.
Destruction of the Wild. Yeah, I would love that so much, and I know that they're not going to do that, but that's what I want to happen. I enjoy my
a game like that as well. Yeah,
I enjoy my town building games, but they're never quite big enough, and yeah. Oh, that's my dream game. I'm pretty sure in a Permadeath before we were asked what our dream game is. Apparently that's my dream game. A half sequel to Breath of the Wild where we're building an entire civilization.
Yeah. I don't know where they go from this, to be honest.
Not a clue. But
I do hope that, like,
I'll be
you know
interested to
how
see
a
what
lot
they
of
do.
people, when Final Fantasy 15 finally came out, they were like, nah, this game was super disappointing, it really wasn't worth the wait. This game was totally worth the wait, in my opinion. I know it's not been as long. It's been, like, what, 3 years that we've known about it? 4 years?
We know that they started development in 2011, but I don't know when they announced it first.
I think they sort of announced it in a direct before the E3 presentation, where they said that they were working on a new Zelda game, and their aim was to break all the conventions of Zelda.
Yeah.
But everyone was, like, obsessed with that Wii U demo at that point. So
yeah, it was probably around 2013, I guess. Maybe late 2012.
Let's... when was Breath of the Wild announced? Announced in 2013. Yeah.
So it's been 4 years.
So it's been 4 years. And, like, I've been really excited about this game, especially since the first trailer, because I, like, immediately fell in love with Link's design. I was really interested in, like, what the Guardians were. The world looked like... It just looked incredible. And you could see, like...
I'll admit, I was initially put off by the first trailer, and I've probably talked about it before. I didn't like the way that they'd rendered the video, essentially. I should probably go... I've not seen it since the first time. I should probably go back and rewatch it, but... Like, for me, the moment that this was a get hype game rather than just a buy and enjoy game was obviously the E3 Treehouse last year, where it was just...
Yeah, I've been excited about it on a hype level for... Maybe that's why, like, I was really hype when they initially announced Breath of the Wild as, like, showing off visuals for it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then that sort of, like, petered off because I was just sort of getting, like, exhausted with being so excited about something. But you're sort of, like, built up, so we sort of, like, I had a dip, and then when I started to dip, your excitement started to sort of, like, rise a lot more.
Yeah.
Because I think by the time I actually had a copy of the game in my hand, which, by the way, surreal experience, I was just like, I want to play Zelda now. Alright. Like...
So would it make you feel a little old if I was to suddenly realise that we've known each other longer than we've known that Zelda Breath of the Wild existed?
Oh yeah, we met in 2012, didn't we?
It makes me feel a little bit old.
I was fucking 20 years old. My god. Do we score games?
We don't normally, but I would give it a 10. And some people would argue that because we've said that there's problems with it, it's not possible to be a 10. I say no.
I'm
in terms of enjoyment.
I'm saving my 10 for a very, very, very special game.
To me, that is.
I don't know what that game is, but this is like a strong 9.5.
9.9 recurring. No,
Yeah,
I'm fine with having multiple 10s. It's just that I've not had anything that's really justified being a 10 for me.
No, I just want people to know whenever I do drop that 10 out of 10 perfect score, it's a fucking big deal. Because this game does have problems that just like piss me off, and I can't, in good conscience, be like, yeah, perfect game. Like, there's never going to be another game like it.
If I had been playing your game with the RNG and all the way that the bosses would work, I would probably be scoring it less. Based on my personal experiences with the game, where everything's pretty much worked okay. I've only had one like super big lag spike ever. Aside from Varnaboris, where I was just a moron, I couldn't work out what the hell I was doing. Everything else has been wonderful to me. So
just
someday.
I don't know.
Someday you'll get your 10.
It's just sometimes I just run into things where I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I'm like that, except it's really, really cool. And I'm like, what is this? Oh, massive statues.
But Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. And I don't think there's going to be a single person in my life where I'm not like, oh no, you shouldn't play that game. Like... I think everyone who is interested in video games should at least try it.
Yeah.
Also
worth noting, I hate open world games. I hate them.
Well, you managed Final Fantasy 15, so...
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Everyone should play
I think there's been a lot of controversy with like Zelda fans lately, like DDoSing websites because they gave it a 7 out of 10 or whatever. It's a weird thing to talk about, but I think as Zelda fans, we should be critical of the things that we like, and it's okay if someone gives it a 7 out of 10. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's okay. And that is my calm announcement of the day.
It was very calm, very announcy.
It's okay if things.
Not everyone's gonna love everything.
Though this game is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it's just I would rather spend that energy of complaining about someone's review score, like playing the game, or perhaps calmly counter-arguing their points if I feel so. But
or convincing someone else to play it for 20 minutes, and then they'll realise that it's been 5 hours, and that you're very annoyed that you've not been able to play Zelda.
I kind of want to, like, when I go and see my dad with my Switch, I kind of want to record him playing the game for the first time. Because he hasn't played a Zelda game since The Wind Waker?
Okay.
And this one is very different to The Wind Waker, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think he was playing it on the same level that he played, like, Ocarina of Time and such. But I have to work out how to capture that without taking my entire PC there, so...
iPhone.
I suppose. Not exactly the quality I'm looking for, but...
Well.
Anyway. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Permadeath.
Savsaba. I presume... Yep. I think that's thank you. Savsaba.
I'm not sure. I don't know Gerudo.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn Gerudo. It's not going very well. They only have like 6 words that I know.
Savak. That's how I should have introduced this podcast.
Zavada. Vo, Vi.
Savak.
Vasak. Yeah, I think that's it.
Gerudo words.
I think it's really... whilst you're looking that up, I think it's really cool that there's all these little hints in the game because of the Sheikah alphabet. Like, when you're trying to look at the pictures and work out where they are, I thought that they were just error notes, but those are actually like the Sheikah writings of like Hyrule Castle or whatever. Like, it tells you where the place is in the alphabet. I really like that.
So we have a handful of words. Vi is woman.
Yep.
Vo is man.
Yep.
Verche is child. If I'm saying that right, I'm probably not. Vere is bird. Savak is hello. Savork is goodbye. Sokso is thank you. Savota is good morning. And Savsaba is good evening.
Savsaba.
And Savsaba. I can't.
Okay.
There's a lot of V's and S's.
Yeah.
And Vasak is welcome.
Okay.
So there you go. So for listening to this episode of Permadeath Podcast, we will see you very shortly for a proper episode where Bill will be talking probably a lot about Horizon Zero Dawn. And watch my YouTube channel. / my VidMe channel.
Yes. Legend of Ebbie.
Yeah.
Link
in
in
the
the
description probably. Right. I think you guys did a better job of selling me than... It's a Nintendo channel, so maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
Latest video to 11 things that Evie likes about Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
It might be 12.
It's 11.
It's 11. Bye.
With that, Savork, goodbye.
Savork.
Savork, Vi and Vo.
And Verche.
And Verche, and...
if you happen to be listening.
Vere, maybe, if you're a bird.
Ryota.
What an ending. Well, I'm glad someone found that funny, because I'm pretty sure no one else is gonna.